What's happening, everybody? It's Deanna with toolsofenergyprotection.com, your energy shift expert, here to talk about 2019. I'm going to give a little chance for those who want to jump on, but I'm on tonight because 2019 really has started off very quickly. It started off with a huge amount of energy, and in 2018, it was month after month after month of having us look at our relationship between ourselves and other people, our inner relationship, our darker selves, our shadow selves, our relationship to money and health. It was a huge year. And by the end of 2018, I was so tired. I'm like, this has got to stop. But what was happening is that energetically we were being prepared for 2019, and here it is. And it's go time, people. It is go time. So normally I do a Tuesday night live, and that was New Year's, so I took some time off because I'm going to be real. I have been so tired and so fatigued since about a week before Christmas. I mean, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally exhausted. And at first, because I'm a mom, I thought, it's because I'm getting everything ready for the holiday and, cleaning the house and doing shopping and stuff like that. And then I started thinking it was my own physical health, and I was actually going to go to a doctor and have them look me over because it's like, why am I so tired all the time? Besides the fact that, I'm an entrepreneur. As many of you know, this is my full-time job. And I have a daughter that I homeschool, so I have my hands busy, so why wouldn't I be tired, right? Well, it turns out that it's been these energy shifts getting us ready for 2019. So I'm going to ask you right up front in the video to hang with me because I've got huge things to talk about tonight. I was going to wait until Tuesday, but it can't wait until Tuesday, so I'm on now, and I'm on live. And if any of this appeals to you, resonates with you, please help me get this message out as far and wide as it will reach, and share it, share the heck out of it, because this is some real truth. These are real things that are happening on this planet that are not being talked about. Yes, there's people that talk about the planetary alignment and the stars and how that's affecting us, and some people are talking about how spiritual beings like the Pleiadians are affecting us, and there's all different aspects, and everybody's got their own viewpoint or their own point of view, or they've learned and they have knowledge. But tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put several of these things together because I think you really need to know. And normally I come on and I'm all huggy and I'm all lovey, and championing you. And tonight I'm just going to shoot it straight. So if you know how to share this and you want to push share on the bottom and share it with other people, that's great and fine. They could get it live in real time. And if not, share the replay, because this is it, people. This is go time, and I am not kidding. 2018 was to prepare you, was to shape you up, smooth you down, get all the weight off of your shoulders that you've been dragging around for your whole schmegging life, and get ready to go, and it's here. And if you haven't felt it already, then don't continue watching, because this is not for you. This is for the people that have worked on themselves this last year, that have done the hardcore work, that have done the releasing, that have done the digging, that have done the building, and they are ready. And what do I mean by go time? Okay, God, Spirit, or Source designed this universe that we live in. It runs like a clock. The little cogwheels go tick, 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 and different things go into place, and different things start, and different things finish. And those are mostly about the energy frequencies of the planets as they align, which is astrology. And if you're into really deep astrology and you learn and you look at that stuff, it's fabulous stuff. And it will really help you more to understand the frequencies and the changes and the dynamics on this planet. And that's usually, when I'm talking about energy changes, that's what I'm looking at. And, watch some of the past videos. I explain that more in detail. But for now, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about what's happening right this minute, where it's ideal for you to be. And if you're not there yet, you have a few days until the new moon, January 5th. So I'd like for everybody to imagine that you are sitting at a racetrack, you're in a race car, everybody's revving their engines, and you're waiting for that flag to go, okay? That flag happens January 5th. And if your little hiney is not on the boat and ready to press that button down and get going, you're going to be left in the dust. And I'm not kidding. This is a serious time, people. This is very serious. So let's get started. I'm going to tell you about some of the things that are going on. I've been doing this for years. If you go to toolsofenergyprotection.com, you look up at articles from like 4 or 5 years ago, you'll see that I used to do very deep science and metaphysics and quantum physics and explain a lot of things. And people finally told me one day they didn't understand half of what I was saying. So I quit. And I just gave you the shifts and real simple information. And that's all great and fine. But right now, you need to understand some deep, deep stuff. So get out pen and paper or hit the replay, because here we go. This is real, people. We're in real time, and this is it. You want to be spiritually ascended, close to God, spirit or source. You want to know what's going on. This is where you need to be connected, because what's coming up in the future, not too distant futures, you're going to see some huge shifts. Now, I don't get into politics often, and you know that. But I'm going to step outside of that box just for a little minute. The Queen of Britain is probably going to step down here pretty soon, and that's going to change the monarchy. There's also some things that are going to happen with the euro. There's also people that are attempting to be the #1 person who rules everything on this planet. And those people behind the scenes are duking it out, trying to decide who's going to do what. And with these energy shifts that are happening, as human beings, they're going to feel that pressure. They're going to feel the anxiety. They're going to feel the fatigue, just like you and I do. And it's going to shift how they make some decisions. So it's time for you to hold on. And like I said, I don't get into politics much. I don't get into the stock market, but I'm going to tell you that stock market is going to take a ride over the next 3 or 4 months. It's going to be up and down, up and down, up and down, 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 up, 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 because of these things that are going on behind the scenes. And what you're going to see on projections, television, internet, news media is fear, 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 right? And if you buy into it, you're going to go down. And you're going to go down big time, and you're going to be frantic, and you're going to be fatigued, and whatnot. But if you're clear about your connection to God, Spirit, or Source, and you are tuned in, and you know that you're being guided, your inner light, your inner self, which Jesus talks about in the Bible, guards your heart and your mind. Well, no, duh, people, because your heart, that's your energy center. That is your direct connection to God, Spirit, or Source, not only the physical, heartbeat, but the spiritual, energetic, because when your heart is open, your vibration is higher. And when your vibration is higher, you can access higher information other than the fear-mongering that's going on in the 3D level. If you would all have any understanding of this, and you're on with me live on Facebook, put some thumbs up. Let me know that you understand what I'm talking about, because I'm going to go deeper than this. But if this is too deep, I'm going to stop. So please, if you're understanding what I'm saying, put some thumbs up. Let me know. All right, good. Okay. And thank you for that. Because like I said, 4 or 5 years ago, I used to spend hours writing these, their blogs. They're still on my website. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the hearts. And nobody understood what I was saying. One of my very best girlfriends in the world one day looked at me and she said, I don't think you understand, that people don't understand half of what you're saying. And so I'm hoping and I'm praying that now is the time that everybody can get on board with this and understand at some level and dig in. So thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for all the thumbs. I really appreciate it. So here we go. So the frequencies are shifting. If you're a human on this planet, it's also shifting you. It's shifting the world leaders. There's a big agenda of fear, 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 because I want you to think about this for a minute. I'm not going to stand up because the camera will get all wonky on me, but if I was standing up and my feet are shoulder width apart, one foot in front of the other, then I can balance myself going back and forth and duck if I need to, right? That's a balanced individual. Now, if you take one foot and stack the other foot on top of it, or try to stand like a penguin unless you're a real good yogi, and somebody pushes you, you're going to fall over. The first one is what a spiritually grounded person looks like. And when I mean spiritually grounded, I mean you're connected to God's spirit or source, and you're also connected to Earth Mother and realizing that she's supporting your butt. You walk on her every day. Wake up, people. Okay? So it's a double connection. When you realize that, and you realize the steadiness between walking on the planet you walk on and that divine center, and you open your heart up, your heart is basically a light that guides you. You can feel when things aren't right. You know when things aren't right in your heart. But if you're standing with one foot on top of the other and you're in a state of fear, that heart closes down and the light goes choop. And anybody who wants to take advantage of you can put so much fear into you. You ever heard of the fear of God? It's not really what I'm looking at, but it's the fear that's keeping you off balance. When you're off balance, I can come and push you with my finger and knock you over. Not that I would do it, but I could. So go time means you choose. Are you going to be in the light? Are you going to guard your mind and your heart? Are you going to be at one with God's spirit or source? Or are you going to be in the fear bucket? Because billions of people are on this planet. And a lot of them aren't awake or aware, or they don't know what's happening. That's why I'm asking this video to be shared with as many people as possible, because I know there's a whole bunch of people out there that are all feeling this at the same time, and they don't know what the schmeg is going on. And I want to shout this from the rooftops, people. So I'm using Facebook, YouTube, it's what I have. Here we go. There is something called sacred geometry. Okay. There are also something called dimensions. So I'll explain dimensions first, as simply as I can. If you knew how to shift your vibrational frequency, you could actually go between the dimensions. Dimensions are nothing more than different frequency levels. You cannot see light frequency unless you look at a rainbow. But that's because something has changed that altered you to see it, like putting on glasses. The core center of the earth is a different frequency than the top of the earth. Makes sense. It's a projection of light and sound. The lower the frequency, the closer you are to earth. The higher the frequency, the closer you are to the center of the universe and the galaxy. So, your frequency is on the earth because you're made of carbon. You have a physical body, right? This is simple science. But you also have something that animates your body. You have a consciousness right here. It's a brain. It processes things in the human existence. But the reason it's animated is called a soul. That was given to you when creation happened for you in this life. Sperm, egg, together, boom, and you were given a soul. So you have the physical dynamic and the spiritual dynamic, and those combined are what's in your heart. That's why they call it your heart light. Those of you that are old enough to remember, what was it, E.T., turn on your heart light. And Christ says to guard your mind and your heart. The reason to guard your mind is because people program it every single day for what you see, what you hear, what you sense. And you're being programmed from a very early age, and so we often don't recognize it. But what have you been programmed to believe? You watch a TV, right? You watch the news. Whatever they put up there, that's what you believe. I guarantee if you turn that TV off for 2 or 3 weeks and you didn't watch it and you didn't look at any news streams on the internet, your life isn't going to change much. Because it's that programming every single day. I'm not saying that everything on TV is bad, but it is one of the resources that they use to put the news out there, and it isn't always accurate. I hope they don't take my video down for me saying that. You never know when they are watching. All right, let's move on. So, how do you know you're on the right track? How do you know that you're connected to God's Spirit or Source, that you're being led by God's Spirit or Source, other than the obvious? You need a spiritual practice. You've got to protect yourself energetically every day. Toolsofenergyprotection.com. Duh, that's why I named the website that. You've got to protect your own energy. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, energetically. You got to protect it every single day. And it's not hard. It doesn't take much energy. My students will tell you that. It's just a matter of aligning yourself and allowing that divine energy to come in and the earth energy to combine and create your shields. And the stronger your heart is, the stronger the shields are. That's why you got to guard your mind, because you have something called neuroplasticity, or your neural net. Joe Dispenza talks about that. So everything you take in your eyes when you're really little programs your net and says, that's normal, this is how to handle that, and it's all programmed. That's normal part of human existence. And then when you get older, say 20s or 30s, and you're out on your own and you see a situation, your brain goes back into that neural net and says, what was normal? What happened when A plus B happened? And it pulls it forward, and then you create that in your own reality. So you're co-creating your own reality because of the stuff you were programmed with, good or bad. And people don't change much. So they get stuck in these ruts. And then they begin to suffer anxiety or depression because they feel there's no way out. Another program technique. If you're stuck, you're more easy to control. And I'm going to tell you that through diet, nutrition, different remapping of your neural net, you can release depression. And please don't tell me I'm full of poop, because it works. You just have to know the combination of how. And most of the time, that's hidden from us, because if we were well, then we could make better decisions. Just saying. Okay, here we go. So, how do you know you're on the right track? All right, when you go up in dimensions, okay, let's see if I can get this to you in the right way. Okay, so imagine the second dimension actually exists, and it's where viruses and bacteria are, but we can't see them with our naked eye, but we can see them with a microscope. So that's the second dimension. Third dimension, carbon body. Fourth dimension is universal consciousness, all the thoughts and feelings and emotions. And then the one after that is basically where you're connecting with God's Spirit or Source. So up in that area around, I believe it is 5 or 6, if I'm not mistaken, that's where sacred geometry happens, because that's where sound and light come together and begin to form mass. Mass, mass. The slower the vibration, the harder the mass, okay? So up in there is what they call geometry, or sacred geometry. It's geometric shapes. I'm sure you've seen them. Triangles within triangles, circles within circles. This is geometric shapes. If everybody understands that, thumbs up, please. Smiley faces, something. Let me know that you're on board with this. There's a little lag time, so I'm waiting. All right, good. Trying to make sure I'm not losing anybody here. Perfect, thank you. So I'm going to move on. So you've got these dimensions that are nothing more than frequencies, light waves, sound waves, okay? Light slows down at the 7th dimension to create sound, okay? In between, I think it is 5 or 6, there's sacred geometry, and that's where the shapes start coming and forming. Oh, good, more hearts. I think I saw some smiley faces. Hope they weren't frowny ones. So they create shapes, and then the shapes come down and form things in our world. If you want to see a beautiful shape, Google Fibonacci code and look up the images and look for a plant. It's really quite beautiful, but that is a sacred geometry shape. Okay, so those geometrical shapes create our reality, right? those shapes, if you look at an angle, not too good, a square, or if you look at a right angle, right angle, right in between here, and in school, if you remember, they used to draw like a little half circle right here and then put numbers here because they're different angles and different degrees. And so in those geometric shapes, they have numbers, okay? Geometry has numbers. So we switched from a shape to a number. In those numbers, when you hit the frequency that matches who you are, who you came on this earth to be, people. Why did you come on this planet at this time? You think you were randomly born? Oh, my parents had sex and poof, I appeared? If that's the little pill you want to swallow, great. Then this video is not for you. Stop watching now. What happened was, when the egg and the sperm came together, your soul, God's spirit or source designed your soul, and it was put into that body for a reason, because you have a mission to accomplish in this life. If you're a bodybuilder and that's what drives you, and you eat it and sleep it, and there's nothing else more important in this world than that, then that's your mission, is to come down as a soul and experience a physical body and bodybuilding and what that looks like. Experience the aches, the pains, what you put in, what you don't put in, how you feel if you drink too much, that kind of thing. Some of the rest of us came down here to be a light in the darkness, to help other people discover that they're not just another freaking number. You get up, you go to school, you learn, you get up, you go to work, you punch in, you punch out, you try to save for your retirement, you make paycheck to paycheck, and you die. That is not why you're here, people. I guarantee you that is the cog that's been created for you, and you're a little hamster in that wheel. Are you happy? You have a bigger design and a greater purpose. I've known that for years. Wake up. Sorry, wake up. The universe has rearranged itself for the here and now, for all of us. Sorry. Composure. Take two. So, you know that you're on the right track, especially probably the last 15 days. I started noticing numbers, and I normally don't pay much attention to them. I'm not a numerologist, not my specialty. But I noticed that numbers started appearing in threes everywhere I looked. I kept seeing 111, 222, 444, 555. Hearts or thumbs up if anybody else has been seeing that. Could have been on a clock, a back of a license plate. I mean, just vicariously, I looked at my phone one night, and all of a sudden it's 222. And I'm like, well, one afternoon, I'm like, well, what gives with that? And you could think it's kind of coincidence, but you start seeing it over and over and over. That is the sacred geometry coming down into your energy field and manifesting in the physical so you can see it. So your brain goes, hey, wait a minute, that's interesting. And you go look at it or you recognize it. So you know you are on track where you need to be. And if you're seeing numbers like 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that means you're in some sort of a repeat pattern and it is not working for you. That's what you're looking for. So you're like, how can I know that? All right, let's say that you made a phone call and you paid your bills on a particular day, and everywhere you saw 111 or 222, then you could say, hey, wait, I paid my bills on time this month instead of waiting till later. I'm on the right track. I know that sounds silly, but I don't know what other examples to give you. Let's say you made a choice to work all weekend and you kept saying numbers like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that means you're not on the right track. Your body needs rest. Your mind needs rest. Your spirit needs rest. So that's how you can gauge it. I hope that is in a way that you can connect with it easily and readily. But that's one of the signs that you're on track. So pay attention. After a while, the numbers might fade off because this universe is changing so fast. That's a sign now. You know, it's like driving down, the highway, and they have those silly signs over the highway, prepare to your tires for change, winter coming, or something like that. And then during the spring, it's not going to be there. It's going to change to something else. So watch for the signs. All right. If you are seeing 111, that is new beginnings. That is manifesting. That is motivation. So if you're seeing those, think about what you're doing at that particular time, because those are things that you're beginning to manifest. Those are things that you're beginning to have as a new beginning. If you see the number 222, guess what? 222 is a master builder number. Want to know how I know? In the Bible, it says the animals were taken on the ark. How? 2 by 2. You have to have a male and a female in order to reproduce. But I'd like for you to also think about your genetics, your genes, your DNA, your double helix. If you don't know these words, look them up. The double helix, not to be rude, but I want you to understand this. Your double helix kind of looks like a ladder, like this. You'll often see it kind of in a squirrely shape. And modern science understands part of that DNA because it makes your nose, your hair color, your shape, all that. But they didn't understand the other half of that, and they've been looking for the mystery DNA, and sometimes they call it junk DNA. Well, several years ago, it was revealed to me that your double helix comes together like this, more or less. And if you were to pull it apart imperfectly, one half of that DNA is your human DNA. That's genetics from the family. If you're tall or short or black or white or Caucasian, whatever you are, that's half the DNA. The other half is your spiritual DNA. That's your DNA from God, Spirit, or Source. That's the other part of your inheritance. And I haven't checked in a while, but I don't think modern science has come out with that statement. They may have in the last few years. I haven't been watching. That DNA is being activated. That's why they call it a master builder. Because if you think about it, when you line up by your DNA, it's in pairs of twos. Chromosomes, pairs of twos. Is that right? So if it's pairs of twos for chromosomes, that means that you are a master builder. So you're being built right now, rebuilt. That's what's going on for you. Right, I'm looking at some of the comments here. Okay, so one of the people tonight in the feed asked, how do we find our purpose? Look in your heart. Whatever it is you love to do more than anything else. If you have to go back to your childhood and think what you loved to do before you had responsibility, that's usually your purpose. Do you love people? Would you rather work with numbers? Do you like to create? Would you rather organize? Those are some signs. If you're still not clear, let me know and I'll help you. But anyways, the master builder number is 2. The X and the Y chromosome. I count 2. So if you've been seeing 222, that's because you're building to something. You're coming into something. 3, love the number 3, right? Triangle, right? 3. 3, if you're seeing 333, that is about communication. It's about spiritual growth. It's about emotional growth. And if you think about it, mental and then emotional and physical Okay, so think about it this way. You've got the conscious mind that I was telling you about. Jesus says, guard your mind and your heart. So there's two. And up here, if you will, is your spirit or soul. So that's three. So depending on your orientation, you have a mental, emotional, and physical body. Mental, emotional, and physical. So it depends on how you're oriented, but I tend to think of it as a mental, emotional, and spiritual. But it's still threes. You can have more than one triangle. But the sequencing of the 333 is about communication. It's about spiritual growth. Oh, yes, and I forgot to tell you, the double helix is about your divine purpose, too. If you want to find more about that, let's get together and talk about it privately, because there's more in that junk DNA that's been revealed to me that will show your divine purpose, who you are, why you're here, what your mission is, why you came here. So those are some deeper things, but we'd have to be together more intimately because it's such a big subject that you know, to share it, I need specifics to see what's in your DNA. All right, now here we go. Another sign that's changing things. So I have somebody in the feed says they're seeing nothing. No problem. This might apply to you. Back in August of last year, we had an eclipse, a huge eclipse, like hadn't happened in how many ever years it was. That eclipse was ushering in a frequency change of humongous proportions. That's why people felt weird, like they were having trouble sequencing time and all that. So what was happening at that moment is your divine self, your spiritual self, your soul self, the one that connects up here to universal consciousness while you were sleeping, most likely, unless you meditate a lot, went out to see what the projections of the dimensions were because they'd shifted. So it was like there was a brand new set of dimensions and possibilities and realities that had shifted. So there was a part of you in your sleeping state that went and looked at all the possibilities. So if you imagine bubbles, you know, we blow, I should have brought some bubbles tonight. When you blow bubbles and they're little spheres, you know, and inside each sphere is a different reality or something different to experience. And so your divine self or your soul actually went into a dream state and picked out which bubbles it wanted to experience in this new space. And so people are experiencing these deja vus, but they're not like a normal deja vu, which is like, well, I've been there before. This is more like when you're experiencing it, it almost seems like you're in a movie. It almost seems surreal. And it's kind of like a checkpoint. There's not a lot of activity there. It's usually just a few seconds, but you're like, I've been here, but it's surreal. And you don't know what's going to happen next. It's just like a photo or a snapshot. So if you're on that trajectory and you're seeing those kind of things come up in your life, then you're on the right path. If you're not, don't worry about it. There may be some other sign for you. Like this person commented that they were seeing nothing with the numbers. It's okay. Different paths, different mountains. Jesus says there's many mansions, you know. So I ask in meditation, I ask God, I'm like, okay, so where do we go from here? This new reality, this new spirituality, these new things are going to change. I'm like, so what do we get? What are we doing now? Right? And what I kept hearing in my mind over and over and over was make plans, make plans, make plans. So in 2018, it was a tough year for me, and I did the best I could to make as many plans and fulfill those plans in my business and in my spirituality as I possibly could, while managing homeschooling, you know, and my life. And it was tough. And sometimes I didn't plan very well because I didn't know what was coming next. So what I'm being told is to make plans about where you're going and take big steps forward, and you will be supported. I ask for you to pray or meditate and ask for yourself, are you going to be supported? Because the answer, as long as you're going yes and rising your consciousness in those frequencies, and you dropped your baggage that you're not going to carry around anymore, depression, anxiety, phobias, fears, whatever it is, doubt, somebody wronged you in the past, some karmic crap, you let it go, you resolve it, your heart opens more, and as your heart opens more, you're going to be lifted up into this beautiful dynamic shift. And the higher the frequency, the better you feel. So even if there's a lot of fear-mongering going on in the 3D world, guess what? If your consciousness is up here, you know what God, Spirit, or Source is doing, where He's taking you. You're following that calling. You're going to be cared for and loved and safe. And this is just going to be static down here. Get strong. Make a plan. Take a risk. If you've never made plans before, take a piece of paper or, on your phone, there's notes, places to write notes, and make a plan. A lot of you are like, oh, for New Year's, I want to lose weight. I saw something posted on Facebook that was hysterical. It said, here it is another year and I'm still where I was, right? They didn't make any plans, because if you do not plan, sorry, let me say that again. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And with all this fear-mongering that they're starting on, and everybody's all worried about, well, is the stock market going to crash? Is the economy going to go to hell in a handbasket? Is this border going to blow up? You blah, 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 blah. Yeah, those are real tangible things. And you do want to keep an eye on them, because that's what's happening in the world at large. But you also want to make a plan to where you're going so you can study your own course. I hope that makes sense. A sail, a rudder, you want to make it steady. So when the winds get, when it gets windy or stormy out there, you know where you're headed because your heart light is showing you. If I haven't lost you yet, please give me some thumbs up or a smiley face or something, because I'm going to drive home one last point and then I'm going to get off and go relax for a while. So if I can make sure everybody's still awake and that I haven't lost you, that would be great. Okay, there's a couple hearts. Good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. One person commented here, being broken and having to say goodbye to things is hard to understand the purpose of certain things. Thank you. When we die, I always wonder, is that when we'll understand? So what's the point of it? Or maybe there's no point at all. Yes, there's a point to it. Thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up and hearts. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so, thank you for connecting. It really helps me to know that the information I'm sharing tonight is helpful to you and making sense. All right. So being broken, having negative things in your life that you have to say goodbye to, and it's hard to understand the purpose. For the person who wrote that, yes, sometimes it is. It sucks. Like I said, I get on most of the time and I provide hugs and I try to uplift you all and keep you encouraged for going forward. And you know so little about my background, but I've had some dark spaces in my life that I did not think I signed up for. I have people abusing me in my life. People I was supposed to trust and entrust. And they just used me, spitefully used me. And it hurt, but I'm going to tell you, I now know what that looks like. I know what it looks like to recover from a sociopath. I know what it looks like to recover from a narcissist. And that only makes me a stronger person to help my clients. to recognize where they are, to shine my heart light and say, you know, you might want to look at this because this isn't good for you, and come on. And here's the path for recovery. Here's the path to freedom. Here's the path to dumping that energy back where it belongs, which is not on you. And that means forgiving. Okay, I want to see if I got a pencil here real quick. I'm going to show you what the word forgiving means. Okay, imagine this is the issue of abuse or whatever it was. And when you forgive, you pop that energy forward and you give it back to the universe, not to the person that gave it to you. They got enough of their own crap that they're dealing with. But you give it back to the universe so you don't own it anymore, so you're not dragged down. Because I'm going to tell you what, there's a space in your head. And if you're renting it out to somebody with a negative message they told you over and over and over again, and you're letting it replay in your head right now, that's part of this shift, is to get rid of it. The reason it keeps looping is because you're supposed to pull it out and get rid of it. I am an energy shift expert. I am a metaphysician. If you cannot pop it out of your own head, give me a call. Go to toolsofenergyprotection.com, click on appointments, call the For Heaven's Sakes bookstore, but get it moving. You haven't got that much longer to dump that crap. And yes, you could dump it 5 years from now if you want to hold on to it, but it's going to be harder for you to get to the higher level dimensions where we're all headed right now. It's up to you. And I may not be able to help you. I might have to refer you out to a counselor or a therapist or an herbologist or an MD. I don't know. But let's find out where this energy has come from and get you unstuck. If your neural net is running these messages over and over and over again, there's ways to stop that and reprogram it. And it really isn't that hard. It requires diligence. It requires effort. And I know that because I have crawled through the darkest spaces you can imagine mentally. And here I am. Woohoo! And God chose me. And he said, I want you to come forward, clean yourself up, get yourself back on track, and open that heart light up so you can shine that light out for not only yourself and others. And that's some hardcore work. And I thought I'd done a lot of hardcore work, and then 2018 came along and there was some. Now I'm lighter. Now I am happier. It's easier for me to do things because my brain is not full so much crap. If you don't know what your purpose is, it's probably because you're carrying a lot of stuff out there. Your mind is real estate, and you're renting it out to somebody who programmed ornery stuff in there, negative stuff, bad stuff in there. You got to get them out. Uproot them. And there are ways to do it, and they're available to you. Like I said, I would love to help you. I may not be your answer, but I can point you in a different direction. But if you're going to rent somebody who hurt you real estate in your head, you might as well type them out an invoice and send it in the mail. See if they'll pay it. All right. I digress a little bit. All right. So here's what's happening, people. There are many planets. We talked about astrology. I know from my religious background that astrology was poo-pooed on. There was somewhere in the Bible where it says you should stay away from soothsayers and tarot readers and astrologists and all that. If you go back and look at who wrote that and what their motivation was to write it, you're going to find a big surprise. But what I do know is that the wise men saw the stars and knew that the king had been born. So how can you support both of those? I don't know. But I do know that the stars and the planets do shift frequencies. They do shift vibrations. And you're feeling it right now, or you wouldn't be watching this. So, talking about the planets, many planets are coming direct in many of their home designations. Okay, you'll have to go look that up. This is not my area of expertise. I am learning more, though. But they're coming into their home dignified signs. This is a rare alignment from what I'm learning, and it is an alignment that hasn't happened in centuries. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm not planning on living in this body for more than 1 century. This is a unique opportunity. If you're in your 50s and you follow the normal course of a human body, you probably won't see the next one in this body. This is your opportunity to learn. This is your opportunity to open your heart light, connect with God's Spirit or Source, and feel elevated in this purpose. The galaxy, you Google galaxy, look at the pictures. It looks kind of like a little octopus with those little arms going around. And that galaxy, right around, I believe, 2012, started to line up with the center of our universe. So, the center of our universe and the center of the galaxy are on a straight line together. And the energy that's pulsing through that hole, through that opening, is immense. And when I do my work, I connect into the highest level of energy. In 2012, center of our galaxy, that's the sun, Mars, Venus, all that, lining up with the center of, the solar system, the center of our solar system, lining up with the center of the galaxy. That means there's no kink in the hose. That means all the magnitude of the light and the love that comes, from the dimensions. You get the 7th dimension where light slows down to create sound, and then on the 8th dimension, light moves through all other dimensions. Speed of light. So you've got all of that beautiful energy coming. And in 2012, we knew about the 9th dimensional frequency, which I won't even get into that because it probably blow your mind. But that 9th dimension was the highest frequency that was available to us because of our alignment. And that is pure light, pure love. And over the last 45 days, the dimensions are opening up bigger and bigger and bigger. And when I get ready for a session and I bring those energies in to help me, to help others, over the last 45 days, it's gone from, if I remember correctly, I think I was at 16th dimensional frequency, maybe 15th, somewhere in there. And I reached today, the 19th dimension is open to us. I don't even know what lives in the 19th dimension. If Stephen Hawking was still around, I'd call him up and ask him. I don't know. But what I do know is that when I reach for that energy and I pull it in, it opens up so much space of love in my heart, possibilities, any blocks that I used to have mentally about not being able to do this or can't find a way to do that are just melting. And it's amazing. And each one of you, if you're opened enough in your heart, you can reach that too, and it's there. It's yours. All you have to do is access it. You don't need me to do that. Ask God's Spirit or Source to help you. If you're still having trouble, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you access it. But you've got between now and January 5th where the new moon comes in and dumps in new possibilities. So right now, again, you're on the racetrack, you get your foot on the gas, boom, 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 you're waiting for that flag. That flag comes January. We're off to the races. So there are some symptoms and some challenges that people are feeling in real time that are being reported to me. I have posted them on my blog at toolsofenergyprotection.com. If you go there and click on blog, it'll come up. It's the energy shift update for this week. So I won't take time to cover them all, but one of the challenges I heard today from one of the gals in my inner circle who I work with every week tell me that she felt surreal. Like again, it's like you're in a movie, but you can't quite connect with it. So I'm going to just check and see if there's anything else to talk about. If you want to post a question, that's fine. I'm going to look over the rest of the comments. And yes, for the person who was talking about abuse, I'm glad you made it too. Big hug to you. Another person says they got rid of a lot of stuff. So good. So it looks like you all are on track. And I noticed that the numbers of people viewing went up and down tonight. So I'm sure some people couldn't handle it, but this is what's happening, people. This is the reality that you're living in. So before I sign off, my final piece of loving advice is take care of your physical health if you're feeling these, because I'm going to tell you what, Christmas came, I was so exhausted. It was all I could do to get out of bed. And all the days after, and I've been changing what I put in my mouth. And so I thought my body was just detoxing, maybe needing more sleep, but it's not. It's these energies. And one of the most important keys, let's see if I can do this without false advertising. One of the most important keys to right now in maintaining your health is an elixir. It's a secret elixir. And for those of you know, have worked with me, I have a sense of humor, so here it comes. You ready? I'm going to sell you this elixir for only $19.95, but wait, there's more. Not really. Here's the elixir. You ready? Here's the big reveal. This elixir will actually help you get through these energy shifts if you use it properly. You ready? Ta-da! It's water. But water will really help you. It is the elixir of life. I found out that people sometimes when they get arthritis in their older age, it's because the toxins go through their body and they get stuck in the joints and there's not enough water to flush it out. You are salt, water, and electric. How does electric move? It travels faster through water. But if you drink enough of this, and do it in a wisdom way, you know, if you don't drink water on a regular basis, don't go drown yourself in drinking a whole gallon in a day because you literally will drown your body. Find out what's Get some exercise. Okay, that's the other thing that I really can't encourage you enough to do. Oops, I lost my mic here. Technical difficulties. Sorry about that. But you have got to get some exercise, even if it's just walking the block every day, even if it's running in place, Zumba, you know, going to the gym, whatever it is, 20 minutes of exercise, keep yourself rocking and rolling, okay? That's it. I don't see any more questions in the feed at this time. I thank you for staying all the way to the end of the video. I know it was rather lengthy, but this is a big, huge message. And when I was in meditation this morning, all I kept hearing was get going, get going, get going, get going, don't look back, get going, get going, get going. And I'm like, oh, I'll take that message to the people. And then I realized it wasn't for the people, it was for me. And I didn't have a broadcast scheduled. I usually do Terrific Tuesdays. So I came on later tonight, hoping to catch as many people as I could because people usually have free time at night. So tomorrow is Thursday. It's my regular day at For Heaven's Sakes Books in Denver. If you can't take your Learjet to Denver, please contact them at 303-964-9339. Let them know if you'd like to have a phone appointment or if you want to do an interactive like this on a private network. And we will find out what's going on for you. If you're feeling wonky, it may be because you can't adjust to these different frequency openings. I'm finding that too, that once I get with a client and there's a frequency that's not quite there for them, they're feeling off, they're having physical ailments, they're having breakdowns and all kinds of things. Again, go on my blog, toolsofenergyprotection.com, and read the article there. I listed out all the things that people have told me that's happening for them. This is go time, people. This is the real poop. I love you all. Big hugs and kisses. Reach out if you need help. Stay safe. Eat good. Get plenty of rest. Watch your hydration. Meditate, pray, connect. However it is you do it. But please do it. Have a good night.